Okay, so this is part 2, and we're picking up with Brian Azzarello's Joker. He says that it wasn't inspired by the Dark Knight movie, but a lot of the way that the characters are fashioned, especially the Joker, can prove otherwise. And this was, if you were to read this right after seeing Dark Knight, it's a great companion piece. So Heath won't be back, obviously, for the sequel. So if you want more Joker, give this a shot. I think it was like $20. Another Batman book, one of the few hardcover. I think this is the only other hardcover DC I have. Is The Man Who Laughs. I picked this up because when it first came out, I wanted it, but I didn't have it. The money for it, so this came out, and it's got a extra book, because this is pretty much the retelling of the first appearance of the Joker from Batman #1. It's got a second story with Batman, the original Green Lantern, Alan Scott, but like I said, I picked it up more for this. It's by Ed Brubaker, the writer of Captain America, and he does really good work. I'm not usually a fan of Doug Mank, but for this story, well suited. JLA Avengers by Kurt Busiek and George Perez. I picked this up just because I think I was reading Trinity, and I didn't know what was going on, but on the Facebook message boards, they said if you've read Busiek's work, a lot of it ties into the Trinity, and this being one of them. So picked it up, read it. I'm not real big into science fiction comic books, so I don't really read too much Galactus and Marvel stuff. The only sci-fi-ish thing I like is Green Lantern. But it's a good book. It was a good crossover, like 20 plus years in the making. Worth the money. Next is Infinite Crisis. This was, I think it's supposed to, reboot the universe. Written by Jeff Johns, the guy who does Green Lantern and Action Comics. Does a great run on both. Like I love his writing. And the art's by Phil Jimenez. All around, it's a good story, and it brought back Earth 2 Superman and Earth 3 Lex Luthor. So this is worth checking out. It's definitely worth the $15. Like $15 is nothing for a trade, especially one this kind of thick. So here's another one. I don't read Justice Society of America, but when they had Kingdom Come was coming back, I wanted to pick it up, but I didn't want to buy the hardcover, so I had to wait an extra year for this one. In paperback, I'm still waiting on the second volume. It's got the story by Jeff Johns, covers by Alex Ross, and pretty much the Kingdom Come Superman ends up in the normal DC universe, and there's some more internal art by Alex Ross. Good book. I just need to pick up the next volume so I understand more of it. Final Crisis is a story where the Earth is going to be destroyed because the sun was extinguished, and this is where Hal Jordan sacrificed his life to restart it. And he goes out a hero, which Hal is one of my favorite heroes next to Superman. I think I picked this up a long time ago, and it's only like $13, so it's a You know, good times. 99-cent box. Superman, time and time again. This is where he gets in the middle of a fight with one of the time. What is his name? The Linear Man. And he gets sent back in time, like throughout time, like in little loops and things like that. So he ends up visiting the JSA, back in the time of the dinosaurs, and Legion of Superheroes, and other stuff. Like I know he visits, yeah, back here, the time of FDR and stuff like that. Comes a Carnival Circus Man and goes back to like his original style, like one of his first appearance costumes. I don't know if you can really see it. Yeah, so there's that. Okay. Superman, Bizarro World. This is when Lex Luthor's clone body was dying and he needed to create another one, create Superman, see how his clone body would survive. And he just busts loose. Good book. I really like the art. Whenever it came to Adventures of Superman comics, I really liked those. That art from the 90s. Next is Superman, Crisis of the Crimson Kryptonite. This is when Mr. Mxyzptlk, the imp from the Fifth Dimension, gives Lex Luthor red kryptonite, which robs Superman of his powers, and he ends up having to get Starman to substitute for him while he's figuring out ways to come back or fight. Includes a suit. It's a good story, and it ends with like the death of Lex Luthor, quote unquote. So, this is a good Superman story that doesn't even have Superman. Not really. This is kind of like, if you're familiar with comics, it's Earth Prime type Superman, where it's a real world setting, but this guy ends up getting Superman's powers, and his name is Clark Kent, and he's gotten jokes for years about getting set up with Lois's and Lana's and whatnot. And you know, what would happen if our world did have a world with a Superman, where Superman was, you know, just a comic book character? What would happen? Good story. One of my least favorites, Superman Birthright. This is by Mark Waid, the same guy who did Irredeemable. I guess this was their way of revamping, rebooting Superman's origin to make it more in step with, I guess, Smallville continuity and other things like that. But I didn't like it. I didn't think it needed that jump start again. It had only been 10 years since John Byrne's, so I didn't see the need. This is one of my favorites. It's the DC Universe, stories of Alan Moore. It's pretty much a collection of like all his stories, which included The Killing Joke. If you're gonna buy, there's two versions. There's one with this and floating heads, looking kind of like this in the front. But this version has The Killing Joke, which is why I picked it up, along for the story of the man who has everything, where Superman just gets pissed. And it also has the Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow. And this story right here is what the Green Lantern Blackest Night is being based off of. So if you want to know everything about the Blackest Night event, you should pick this book up so you can read the story and know what's going on. And this art was really cool, very 80s. So yeah, apparently I'm gonna need to go into a part 3, and I'm still in DC. Wow, I have barely even touched into Batman. So if you like what you're seeing, go ahead and comment, subscribe. Yeah, so I'll see you in part 3.